Yngwie Malsteen is a Swedish guitar player. He's largely credited for starting the neoclassical movement in rock and metal guitar. Now there are a bunch of guys doing it, including Randy Rhoads. That having been said, Yngwie certainly did get the most credit for it. Yngwie styled many of his guitar passages like a violin, and he drew upon classical and Baroque musical theory. It's this very theory that makes Yngwie's music sound classical. Today we're going to cover a technique that involves three basic sections. The first is a descending E harmonic minor scale. The second part, or the middle part, is going to be a diminished section starting on A, and the last part is simply the outline of a natural E minor chord arpeggiated, or fan-picked, or sweep-picked, if you prefer. Now, if you don't know the harmonic minor scale, it's a good scale to learn. The notes of the harmonic minor scale are the same as the natural minor, except that the 7th degree of the scale is raised by one semitone, creating an augmented second between the 6th and 7th scale degrees. The 7th degree behaves in a way similar to the major scale in that it becomes a leading tone back to the tonic. This is what gives it its distinctive sound. My name is David Jaden Conley, and welcome to GTR. So, again, the first part is a harmonic minor scale that starts on the C. See, there's your raised 7th. That gives it the quality of a major scale with a leading tone kind of action going into the tonic note of the scale. But it continues down. And it goes up, starting on the diminished, starting for the A. And then you're going to sweep pick the... The idea is that don't let the notes ring, but kind of let them cancel out. So that's basically it. Okay, here we are in the sheet music section of GTR with our technique Yngwie-ism. As always, if you're not content to just read this off the screen, you can hurry on over to sheetmusicplus.com and obtain a printout of this exercise there. Now, there's many different ways you could probably notate this, but I've kind of taken an easier slant on it so that people who are just beginning to read music or maybe not so up on their sight reading won't have as hard a time with it. I'm just going to go ahead and play this and then I'll go back and kind of sort through the three basic sections of this lick. So I'm actually using a rectifier right now with set to a solo patch, and it's got a fair bit of stereo chorus on it. And one of the things I'm kind of doing that to emulate a little closer to what Yngwie's done in the past, especially in kind of his newer stuff. One of the things about the more effects that you put on your tone, the easier it is to dirty it up. So it requires you to be just a little bit cleaner when you're playing. Now, as I said, there's three basic sections to this, and the first part is the descending E harmonic minor scale, which I think I said earlier is actually a fairly cool scale, and if you don't know your harmonic minor scales, you should learn them because they're pretty cool. So this one starts on the C. So see, that's the raised 7th we talked about earlier. it gives it a leading tone feeling, which is kind of when we're using a major scale, it's the 7th step of the scale, and it always gives it that little that kind of push back to the tonic. And if you've ever heard shaving a haircut 2 bits, that's a good example of a leading tone, because if it just went shaving a haircut 2, you'd be like, and so that's the idea of the leading tone anyway. So so we're going to descend down the harmonic minor, starting at the 8th fret of the E string, which is C. And we're going to keep going down. We eliminate one note there. So, and then the part 2, the second section of it is. So that starts on the A, 5th fret of the E string. And then you've got this gliss. Some people call it fan picking. Other people call it sweep picking. When I was in school, we just called it a arpeggiation or a gliss. But whatever you call it, you put your hands in the position of the top of the E minor scale, and you outline it. So you kind of hold them in position without moving. You kind of have to move to hit that note at the 12th fret. But the idea is that you don't. I think the idea is that you don't. You cancel them out. You don't let them ring after the fact. But to quote Bob Ross in his painting show, "It's your little world. You can do what you want." But I think it works better when you kind of cancel them out. So, and you might see this notated in any number of ways. I did it. I'm not really playing it the way I wrote it, but I did it in sextuplets in the notation, and I tend to take some liberty with that gliss a little bit. But it's possible in classical literature you could see something like this notated with grace notes to that note, grace notes up to that, and then grace notes back down to that note. There's a variety of ways of conveying this information within the written language of music. So, and who's right or wrong, it really depends. There's lots of different ways to write something down sometimes. So, and that's basically it. So again. Give it a little bit of vibrato there, and that's basically the fingering of it. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you for tuning into GTR. Hope you keep playing that guitar and that you're learning things, and please share this with your friends. The next time you're on Facebook, look us up. Just type in GTR Guitar Technique Review and it'll come right up. Appreciate it if you give us a like. So thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.